So we are now in Mercury retrograde, post-shadow, post-effect period. It seems that many may be having energies of anxiety, stress, overwhelm, maybe some solar plexus energies coming in that do indicate fear, and other anxieties possibly from picking up from others. So in interest of providing some guidance from the universe on what we might be able to collectively do to handle this period and these cycles of these lower vibration energies that are impacting individuals on a pretty significant basis. Wanted to see if the universe would provide any information and in order to help us move forward over the next couple weeks. So going to see what guidance may be provided to help navigate the next couple of weeks and move through these difficult times that may be affecting some people on a very physiological, physical kind of level. So let's get started. Unbiased energies, Mercury post-shadow, anxiety, stress, overwhelm. Any more? One more. Aloneness, and it looks like this may be for some people related to, wow, these are all major arcana cards. Lovers, aloneness or hermit. And conditioning, which I want to say, I'd have to look. I haven't memorized all the Roman numerals. Conditioning, which I think is temperance or justice. But again, I'd have to look. So, I know what it means in this deck. I don't know what it correlates to right off in the standard Rider-Waite. So, yeah, we have something relationship exiting. Perhaps I'm feeling maybe a separation, maybe not necessarily a abandonment per se, but perhaps some kind of physical separation and a spiritual connection. So some of these anxiety stresses that we're feeling, I would suggest that maybe those energies are being picked up through those connections mutually, because energy in some of those connections is definitely two-way. So if we have our own plus theirs, but we are not with them in relationship, and maybe there is a relationship you or they are in based on social conditioning, beliefs, spirituality, obligation, the things that basically tell us, once you're in this relationship, once you're in this commitment, say maybe a marriage or what have you, you don't get divorced, you don't leave. That's just not. There's plenty of belief systems that don't permit that. So then we have this aloneness, and this is the Osho's in Tarot deck, and there are no reversals for these. So I'm definitely going to look for some additional clarification. Alrighty. I have to listen sometimes for which deck you want me to use. The Lovers. Tell me about the Lovers, please. How is this related to Mercury retrograde? Anxieties, stresses, overwhelm, people need the feeling. Tell me about the Lovers in relation to Mercury retrograde. Next 2 weeks. About the Lovers over the next 2 weeks. Mercury retrograde. Unwise tree. Tell me about the Lovers, please. Mercury retrograde. Now, the reading I tried to do last night that was just the Hermit, but it's too many cards. So it's confirmation of singlehood, one's approach to it. That is way too many, guys. Kind of got a very similar energy. It was more material based, but used the wrong tools and just had too many errors and glitches to upload. And as energies can change from day to day, although I personally have not felt any shifts. The Lovers. There's the Lovers here. Mercury retrograde. I don't know about anybody else that might read, but for me, my Rider-Waite deck is not usually immediately. There it is. And there's that same energy from last night regarding materialism and abundance. Not materialism, but your material world, financial job, the Lovers reversed. So definitely seeing a separation of some type, and it could be strictly, not sure why the Seven of Pentacles per se. So when I do clarification, I usually do 3 cards. Lovers, still Lovers reversed. Yeah, that kind of feels like more like So the Lover's upright, the Osho, I feel like that's more of inner energy, balancing within, whereas the Lover's reversed would be that relationship dynamic. Where such separation, yeah, see, it's all kind of right here. But I don't want to take this many cards. One, please. And if I were willing to take 8 cards for a 1 card clarification. One more, please. This takes a little on the stubborn side. So, yeah, I'm seeing that, actually, I take that back. I'm seeing mirroring. One more on the Lovers, please. We got Mercury retrograde and the Sun. I'm getting a couple different messages here. I'm going to clarify this 7 of Pentacles in a minute. It's like you're standing there waiting for this thing to come to fruition. In separation, there's the recognition that this person or situation is being identified as the happiest experience, but there's this mirroring influence, or it could be like going within. I'm kind of feeling the going within. I mean, it does have that mirroring, but I do feel like it's more of an internal process that needs to occur. Aloneness regarding Mercury retrograde, post shadow, aloneness. I don't know why aloneness is here. Yeah, I feel like these are internal energies. That's what Osho has brought out, and looks like Rider-Waite's dealing with the external energies. Transformation. Standing your ground. One more, please. And then give out too many, even if they resonate with the energies I'm picking up. I don't want to take the chance that I'm overcomplicating. So I trust universe to bring out what's needed. I don't always trust the energies to be quite so clear. As in human manifested energies. So the cards kind of draw on both. One more, please. I felt something, but I'm not sure what. One more, please. For aloneness. Come on, guys. candles all night. Oh, thank you. That's 2. But I will take it. 4 of Wands, stability, celebration, relationship, and 2 of Wands. In this case, stagnation, standing your ground, death, and aloneness. Okay. Stuck. Wishing for stability, but they're just stuck. Conditioning. Socio-political, cultural demands. Why is conditioning here for Mercury retrograde, anxiety, crisis, overwhelm, fear? This is 4. I'll take 4. Ace of Pentacles, there it is. The Empress. The Emperor, there we kind of have it right there. The Empress and the Emperor reversed. With partnership, commitment, balance, structure usually, and finances, family, spirituality, those things. But then there's Ace of Pentacles, which is material abundance. So that, it's kind of all right here. The Empress and the Emperor reversed, which reflects this aloneness. And the Emperor and Empress reversed have their own energies, but in this particular reading, I feel this is confirmation that this is regarding some sort of connection, relationship, romantic. I don't typically do love readings per se. There's a million love readers out there. But this is what's come out. So I will read, obviously, whatever comes out. And you guys heard the inquiry about the post-shadow retrograde. And I am aware that during both pre-shadow and direct, there were a lot of energies coming out, causing separations and divisions and changes in relationships. And this is very reflective of that. So these may be events that have already occurred, where perhaps there's a connection with someone romantically, I feel like. Just because of the duplication of the lovers, the Empress and the Emperor pair coming out side by side as they have. We have Wands, which is often representative of, everybody knows what 1111 is. So we've got the 2 sets there, but it's in reverse. This waiting energy, the stand your ground, which can also be just an energy of stubborn, death card, which is change, transformation, new beginnings, but something old has to exit. Obviously, in order to have a new beginning, we have to terminate something else. So it does feel like there is a lot of physical energy in here revolving around finances, I feel like. job, finances, a belief in having to meet a particular standard in order to have this pairing be the most divine. So this is definitely a very solid soul connection of some type, but that partnership is lacking. And it does appear, since we have 2 pentacles here, that there's this belief or desire that somebody is not sufficiently independent financially, or is not earning enough or working hard enough. And that is based on the cultural belief of, financial stability, job, earnings, degrees, what have you, is of utmost importance. It is something that's very common in our culture and our society. The aloneness is very much trying to push forward, probably trying to push out of that sense of loneliness. So it's not aloneness really that I'm getting the energy of. It's more like a lonely, which is a less healthy version of the same concepts. With the lovers reverse, the sun and the 7 of Pentacles. Again, we have that concrete, that trying to decide whether now is the time to collect one's abundance or to walk away. And what's going to bring happiness. So this almost seems like a confusing, questioning energy, whereas this Lover's card, I really feel like is about the recognition of the love within, or perhaps the lack of love within, which is then being mirrored, reflected back by that person that is being connected with. I do feel like this is a romantic situation of some type, or maybe it's just the desire for it to be romantic, but there's this separation in some way. Finances, material reality is involved. I'm going to see if I can get a little bit more clarity. So I'm going to see if I can pull one final clarification card, just to sort of add to confirm interpretation, because the energies do go through a human mind, so I don't like this leading or misguiding anyone ever. I take that back. I may be pulling two different decks. And then I'll pull some advice cards on how to move through these energies, because it's clear that this is a very powerful, very strong connection, whomever it's with the Empress and Emperor, and these all being major arcana cards. So this is definitely a divine connection. We have several major arcanas. We have the Sun card, the Death card, the Lovers, the Hermit, this Conditioning card, which I don't know why I'm blanking on the Roman numeral, but so this is clearly the issue. Clear one final clarification for the lovers group. One final clarification for the lovers group. Too many. Just one. I'll clarify those if needed. Just one. These cards, unlike my Rider-Waite, they can be very, very chatty. So can the Osho cards. They weren't this time. Clarification lovers. I came in sideways. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at 4 of Wands. Okay. Or 4 of Wands. Goodness. 4 of Swords. Empress reversed again. The Lovers reversed again. And High Priestess reversed. I'm going to go ahead and take all 3, but I'm going to set them kind of down here. That just is kind of confirming the imbalance and the intervention. There's definitely some kind of karmic energy, and karmic energy really, there's a lot of misunderstanding about karmic energy. Karmic energy is just energy. How it manifests is based on how we imbue it. So karmic energy can be positive, it can be negative. We often identify it as something negative. Karma's a bitch. But it doesn't have to be. Now, in the reverse, especially being the number 2 card, and we have a progression. We have a numeric progression. I'm not much into numerology, but we have a 2. We have a 3. And we have a 4. So, you know what? I can't count. I take that back. That's a 6. Never mind. Disregard that. We do not have a progression. Empress. Lovers. High Priestess. 2. And do we have patterns? Self-deception. Or rather, an attempt to get out of self-deception. I think that's the recommendation. Is to get out of a state of self-deception and to get into the genuine hermit space, which is intended to be to go within and the Moon card, which is exactly what I was saying. Conditioning. I didn't change the question. I didn't change it from aloneness to conditioning. And High Priestess is kind of she rules the moon energy. Yeah, so with this coming out sideways, it just came to me. 4 of Swords. This is the need to transition from a state of active anxiety to restful peaceful introspection, to take a break from the external and give yourself some spiritual, emotional, psychological space, and take a break. And that break is basically in this aloneness, this hermit energy. One, please. Conditioning. One. So this could, yeah. So there's a difference in values on what's important, what matters regarding materialism or one. Materialism, financial wealth, financial gain, and there's not a coming together on this matter, which is a lot of what showed up last night. It's a little more clear tonight. One for conditioning, please. Conditioning group. Oh, I don't have any particular spread or pattern. I just let universe kind of guide me. There it is. Queen of Pentacles reversed. There it is. There's that stubbornness, that selfishness, that because Queen of Pentacles reversed is very self-centered, greedy, material-based, hoarding kind of energy. Can be vindictive even, and just because it's a queen card does not mean that it's necessarily the female or the feminine energy. That's just the energy it represents, is that hoardingness and that greedy and selfish and not willing to collaborate, which is also what's here with this Three of Pentacles reversed. And I do feel like this is more energetic than necessarily something happening in one's actual direct life. I mean, it could be, obviously. It could be for some, but I do feel like the energies are there, and this is where a lot of this anxiety and stress and overwhelm and tension within is coming from. You know, there's these, and the message is very clearly between this Four of Swords sideways, aloneness, hermit, plus the moon, plus the Seven of Swords. You know, really, really just feel like there is this request from the universe to go within and stop being so stubborn and focusing on outward. You see, this is not always the reading for this card, but you know, we have this one guy with the one wand, and you have these 6 other wands, and he's standing his ground. He's defending to the end. He is going to stubbornly stand his ground and protect, you know, what's there. And wands are passion. They are fire energy, romance, you know, movement, motion, rapid motion and movement. So this stubborn energy is very internally present, you know, and we see that with these 2 cards because we're basically duplicating here. We've got the 2 and the 4, and both of them are reversed. And 2 of Wands is usually, you know, you're watching your ships come in. You are seeing the manifestation take form. It's not to you yet, but you can see it. Here, this is just waiting. Just waiting. Not actually taking action, no forward movement, no anything. Same thing with the 4 of Wands, just more so. So this is a very stagnant energy that is very, very stuck. And with the aloneness, the moon, and the Seven of Wands reversed, this is that stubbornness, that refusal to go within and connect with yourself, because I do feel very, very much like this is that internal energy. The same with this aloneness vehicle. Vehicle? No idea where that came from. Aloneness card and this conditioning. These are the internal energies. So I feel like, you know, with these anxieties and stresses, we've really got to work on connecting within and releasing, you know, that dependence and that waiting energy, and really focus more on the inner happiness and that universal energy. The happiest card in the deck. The happiness is within, not without. You see, this Lovers is reversed. This Lovers, which I'm getting is that internal, is upright. You know, and this is kind of that, I feel like these two are paired and they did come out next to each other. Lovers reversed and Seven of Pentacles. This is that, do I collect my pentacles now? Do I collect my fruit, the fruits of my labors, or do I wait for it to increase? Which then reflects back to the Three of Pentacles reversed and this Ace of Pentacles, this not lack of partnership and collaboration and working together in order to create the ultimate abundance. We see that reflected here. So this is like a double confirmation in two sets of cards. Empress reversed, which confirms this Empress reversed. Two different decks, two very different cards. They draw upon different energies, but not today. Lovers reversed. There's that same encouragement. Again, double confirmation. These are all major arcanas here. Lovers reversed. You know, so the message is very, very strong. This is about that anxiety and stress. It may be coming from this connection, this relationship, which is extremely powerful, extremely guided, extremely connected at the soul level. However, that does not mean that we focus on other shadows, hidden. High Priestess, she's hiding. She's hiding information, or rather you're hiding from the truth. And therefore it cannot come forward. The light is not shining in the answers because many of us are not recognizing that what we're feeling is actually something within, not without. That it is based on some kind of our own. Everyone's situation is going to be different. What their inner fears or their anxieties, their own stresses, frustrations, whatever it may be, that's going to be different for everyone. But the call is still to change the focus from external to internal in regards to this divine connection, because as long as we stay in this external focused energy, this is what the connection is going to look like. Instead of like that. That inward focus has to occur first. That demand for inward focus is the second group of cards. This is the third group of cards. This is where the situation is. This is where it eventually may be, based on whether or not we do as we're asked to do. which is to do that inner work, that denial, the denial of the things within that we really need to go within in order to discover, rather than stubbornly refusing and waiting for this fulfillment, taking no action towards ourselves, and towards our own healing, and releasing those stresses and anxieties. This is a time I feel like, you know, we are definitely being very, very called, due to the energies, the post shadow, and that's what Mercury does, is it brings out the fears and the anxieties and the stresses. And this is why, so we can take a look at those, examine them, see what we need to do differently, see what we need to change. But if we refuse to do that, then we stay in this very stagnant, stuck place, and we don't move forward, and there is a lot of stress and anxiety and, you know, those negative energies that are linked and shared with that person. Yeah, I think it's a pretty point blank reading. So whoever this other is, you know, I'm not gonna say don't think about them or don't you know, have feelings for them. I don't know that we can necessarily help that when we have feelings and connections with other people. We are still human after all. However, to put them in a space of being above you, or more important than you, or more valuable than you, that's where these kinds of disconnects occur, because you, truthfully, you yourself within are the most important person there is. Not them. Not them. You. You are the most important person there is. This is where to put your energy. This is where you will find your happiest card in the deck. But you have to go within release the shadows and the secrets that you may be hiding from yourself, the denial. Stop waiting for something to change. It's a change you have to manifest willingly. The universe isn't going to force it. I mean, it'll push. It'll push for sure. But the universe is not going to force it. So if you are feeling like you are picking up on someone else's energy, you're feeling stressed, anxious, tired, fearful, tense, anything along those lines, the recommendation from the universe is to take the time to go within, to take the time to focus on self, listening to your guides, listening to your higher knowing, listening to the divine, who's not just going to hand you answers. You've got to be willing to work for it. You've got to be willing to be open to it. And really get in your energy of self-empowerment, self-love, self-worth. It's hard, especially when you are picking up other people's vibrations, but the higher the thing I've realized is when we vibrate at a higher level, sometimes those other connections, those people outside of our bodies, their energy just starts to scream in defiance, because they're also picking that up, and they don't want to look within, but you're not responsible for them. You're only responsible for you. You cannot make someone else look within. Not your job. It's their work to do. So, you may be picking up a higher level, being more sensitive. Mercury retrograde-Post shadow could be amplifying those feelings, both of your own and that other person's, if that's indeed what you're picking up. And it is, very much that mirroring energy, because everybody around us is a reflection. So, we need to take what we feel and we understand, even if we know that it's someone outside of us, and look within to see where that's being reflected back, where that needs some kind of attention from us and what type of attention. And you're the only one that's going to know that. You know what you're holding on to. Even if you don't want to look at it, even if you're in denial about it, you still know your own story. You still know your own history. You still know the things that trigger some sense of self-doubt and fear and make you uncomfortable or afraid, any of those types of things. So, I'd say spend a lot of time for the next couple weeks meditating, the Hermit. Really finding that power within. It won't be easy if Mercury is impacting you in such a way that you are being amplified in your emotional body, especially if it's amplified times 2. It can be pretty intense, but there is a very, very strong encouragement. Take care of yourself, meditate, take care of your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health, and really focus on you rather than them. Even though that connection may be very powerful, very strong, it may be very difficult, use your tools of meditation and just physically taking care of you. Those energies should ease up in a couple weeks. So these are recommendations, that are for sure anytime, all the time, as far as focusing on self rather than other. But in particular, I feel like the next couple of weeks are going to be particularly challenging for some people. So it's a really good time to work on that inner reflection piece and clearing some of those difficulties for yourself, and just really take time for you. Stop giving away all your power to someone else and all your energy, because thoughts are energy. So if you're thinking about someone else more than you were thinking about what's beneficial, wow, that is way too many. They don't usually do that. Thinking about other more than yourself, then that's also probably a pretty good indication that there's some questionable perceptions of value going on. You should always be your first priority. Regardless, connection or not, you should be your first priority. Always. No, it's not selfish. It is what we call self-care, self-fulfilling. There are ways to manifest it selfishly and self-servingly rather than self-fulfillingly. And there is difference, definitely. Let's see what we have for advice for the next 2 weeks regarding this post-shadow period. These fears, anxieties, stresses, the need to go within, to focus on self and self-care, self-love. And the strength of these energies for the next 2 weeks. Advice do we have? I think they may have changed their minds. I think they did. They made both. Regarding self-love, self-care, and the magnification of stresses and anxieties. Connections, shadow Mercury. What do you have? What advice do we have? Insights. What does the universe want to share with the folks that may be experiencing these types of energies at this time? Shadow connection energies. What do you want to share with who might be watching? Going beyond normal. Now these I do tend to read. They're very long. Diving for light and going beyond normal. And these are decks that I have not pulled every card, so I don't have them all memorized. Some of them are very intuitive. Some of them are not. So this is a Sacred Rebels deck. Interesting. That 11 came up a lot in the cards in the tarot. And here it is again. Diving for light. I have a feeling and going beyond normal. So I have honestly not pulled these cards before. Like ever. I've had this deck a while and I use it pretty regularly. Diving for light. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and read this, at least this first section, and I may get a pause for a minute while I skim. I don't like to make it too long. How brave you are diving for light. It can be so much simpler to seek light in the heavenly, in that which is blissful, sweet, loving, and kind. To look for light in that which is dark is an advanced task that only a rebellious and brave heart will attempt. You may not feel that you have taken such a journey by choice, yet you have taken this wise challenge on from deep within your soul. Your innermost being has evoked this situation in your life. Your innermost being has evoked this situation in your life, meaning that separation, with the intention that you grow in power, wisdom, and creative juice. It also wants you to experience a bold and fearless trust in life and become further empowered to live it with zest and courage. Wow, the cards really don't lie. The Oracle of Diving for Light speaks of a time when you are called into darkness through life circumstances, situations, relationship challenges, or inner struggles that defy clear understanding. That Moon card, the Seven of Wands reversed, or Seven of Swords reversed, the 2 and the 4 of Wands reversed. The darkness might be a creative block, a sense of being in a void, or feelings of depression, rage, sadness, fear, or anxiety. What was this reading about? I kid you not. You guys watched me do it. Here's the card. I'm not a pull reader. I do jump. You guys watched me. I swear that is exactly what it says. Right? Let's see. Which line was it? The darkness might be a creative block. fear, anxiety, depression. I'm sorry, it shocks me sometimes. There may or may not be an obvious cause. So those pentacles, that may be true for some, it may be something else related to material, concrete, external, something's job. Exactly what, I don't know. But what showed up was definitely a financial kind of feeling. The darkness might be generally accepted and socially acknowledged because there is a socially acceptable or obvious reason for it. Oh my gosh, that is exactly what this conditioning card is. That's what it means in the Osho deck. Is those socially acceptable conditions that we take on, but we don't really want to be in because it's what's expected of us. And it's confirming that you're on track. It talks about creative. Every card is in here. There is the autumn harvest, 7 of Pentacles, and there's the death inherent in winter. I believe the 3 of Pentacles had snow in it. I have to double check that. 3 Pentacles have snow in this deck. Now the 5 Pentacles does in the Rider-Waite. Cannot remember right off if the 3 Pentacles, those are cards all below. Ace of Pentacles. Knight of Wands. Where is that? Oh, you know what? That might have been the Rider-Waite deck. 5 of Pentacles does. Can't remember if the 3 of Pentacles does. No, but it does have this impression of being cold, wintry kind of feeling. Might just be the clothing. But there is not snow. There's that 3 of Pentacles. Yeah. When diving for light, one must be willing to bear the darkness and understand it has a purpose, much like winter does upon the earth. Oh, I skipped a bunch. Every card is in here. There is the autumn harvest. There is the death inherent in winter, when energy is concentrated and pulled within to seek out the darkness where it can rest. 4 of Swords, regenerate, and simply be until the time is right for new life, energy, and creative inspiration to burst forth. That would be that Ace of Pentacles. It is not an error or through lack of consciousness that you are here now. It is a testament to your spiritual growth and the creative process, not a sign that they are lacking or stalling. The healing process below will help you with your inward plunging and to successfully navigate it. That's the good stuff. This oracle brings particular guidance that although you are powerful, you are also vulnerable at this time. You need to be alert to sabotage and criticism that may make your progress more difficult than it already is. Watch out for that internal sabotage, those internal dialogues that we all have, the ego mind that tell you, what your value is, what your worth is, what it's based on, what it's founded on. This situation could have those come forth. Listen for those, recognize them, learn what they are, so that they do not have, that same level of power, in your way of being. And sometimes that can be where those anxieties that we may feel, in our solar plexus comes from that kind of queasy, nauseous, tense, naughty, but there's no reason for it. And I think this is going to have to be done twice because I have this feeling that just kind of blipped. It'll be rather unnecessary. At least some of the people around you might be more attached to their fear. At least some of the people around you might be more attached to their fear and doubt than to their faith in your process and the ways of creative, rebellious, spiritual path that asks us to trust unconditionally. And that would be that connection energy. If you are indeed picking up on that. You don't need to carry their fear for them. You have your own process to attend that Osho lovers, your own process, yourself, your own, you. Yeah, I get kind of excited, so to speak. To attend to, and they can choose to be inspired by your journey or frightened by it. It's not your responsibility, it's theirs. They are free to respond as they wish, and whatever those responses are, that's part of their journey for them to work through. Didn't I say that? All right, yeah, I'm reading this whole section. It's long, guys. I'm sorry, but this is just... I really get shocked sometimes how everything ends up tying together when I do these types of readings. Yes, they're long, they're detailed, but this just validates the accuracy and the truth of them. You know, the fact that I have never pulled this card, I have never read this description, and yet the cards and the interpretation all line up to this advice card. So I'm going to be interested to see what going beyond normal is, because I haven't pulled that one before either. You also need to be vigilant against the darker forces within. These are the voices that you may not expect, particularly if you are a pure-hearted being who typically resonates with love. These voices or feelings might surprise you with their dark intensity. They may be feelings of hate, terror, or wanting only to sleep because anything further is all just too hard. Now, see, this is where I would have said this could be the magnification by post-shadow Mercury, you know, between the connection with this other person, yourself, and the energies that simply are due to astrological events. They may contain vicious criticism of yourself or tell you that your inner creative work is pointless, unoriginal, not worth it, or stupid. This can also apply to, you know, something besides creative. These dark forces, you are on the wrong path, suggest that you will fail, or ask with great condescension, who the hell do you think you are? Well, you are either the emperor or the empress. Just need a little alone time. You must stay in your heart and not believe these dark forces. Stay in your compassion. Fear creates the energy of anger, hate, and destructiveness. These forces are part of life. We don't have to be frightened of them, but we do need to deny this is that 7 of energy, 7, oh my gosh, I can't even talk. That 7 of swords, and I think it was the moon card. 7 of wands. 7 of wands, moon, 7 of swords, that self-denial, the active refusal. Because fear can do that. Ego mind can do that. So this is just reassuring you that, you know, those feelings are normal. But there's no reason to be afraid of them or to ignore them. in order to find the light in the darkness. We just need to hold compassion and be intelligently aware so we can avoid being seduced into the trap of needing to prove ourselves or into the mistaken belief that we need to fight against darkness. There's that Seven of Wands and the Moon and the Sun. It's too early to get caught up in trying to heal the dark. Darkness just is. Recognize it when it is there, which is what I said. Just go within and acknowledge it. Be aware of it. Recognize it when it is there and be in your compassionate heart. All you need to do is make a choice. Will you stay in your heart or will you be seduced by darkness and overcome by hate or sleepiness, which would be that depression energy? Diving for light is a spiritual test and a threshold for all true creative work. This does not necessarily apply to strictly creative work, but all work has the option of being creative. We successfully navigate our way through this test and pass the threshold into new creative birth, represented by the Death card, by staying connected to the light of compassion in our own hearts. It is not an easy test, but it is one that you must be ready for. Otherwise, it wouldn't be coming to you now. Just remember, it is the light of the heart. That would be this Lover's card. Oops, sorry. This Lover's card and the Sun that I pointed out. Those were the two in the first set that were upright. Where is it? There it is. These two were upright. But the other two lovers that showed up, and it showed up twice, 2 other times, both of them reversed. So this is about that self-love, that self-compassion, that looking within, and that acknowledgement, shining the light in the darkness within through that hermit experience, and not being so hung up on this energy, regardless of what it brings in. Regardless of what it brings in. You know, this process of shining the light within will help heal. Not necessarily heal, but alleviate some of these stresses and anxieties while they're being magnified. And because I do feel very strongly that that is what's going on, is that they're being magnified by post shadow right now. Just remember, it is the light of the heart, the Sun, and the upright lovers that sustains. It exists within us always, even in the darkest depths of unknown terrain. This oracle also comes with a special message. There is a darkness within or around you that could become problematic if left unchecked. If for no particular reason you find yourself feeling angry, irritated, hopeless, or tired more easily than usual, unable to rest, or is just too much effort to exercise or take care of yourself, then this darkness is having an unnecessary effect on you. It is time to end that now from a place of compassion. The healing process, I don't do these healing processes. They're too short, too simple for being truly effective, in my opinion. If somebody actually wants that, I'll provide it. Yeah. You know what? This one actually might be useful because it says it's not a one-timer. Say this out loud, whether it makes sense to you or not. I call upon the presence of unconditional love. Be here now, without restraint. Fill me and fill this space. Touch all beings with your grace. I feel the presence of unconditional love within me. I acknowledge the presence of unconditional love all around me. You know what? I may just take a screenshot of these and post those. 14. Confirmation all over the place, guys. Going beyond normal. Let's see what this one has to say. Ha! Okay, you know those, Osho card, the conditioning, Ace of Pentacles and Three of Pentacles reversed. I have a feeling that's what this is, just by glancing at the first couple lines. Is addressing is a belief system that's keeping both kind of in that reversed Emperor-Empress position. On the path of life, there are deciding moments when we can choose to go with the mainstream, or we can dare to take a bolder, more authentic and trusting way, even if it seems riskier or less safe. To rely solely on logic, science, without incorporating the mysterious and magical as a recipe for an existence that is far too dry. Choice point, you're approaching. The choice is about balance. Emperor, Empress, Sun, Moon, Lovers, reversed, Lovers, upright, within. What is within is also without. I mean, High Priestess, you can't get really much more about balance. More about integrating all approaches so that you enhance rather than hinder your life journey. Basing decisions on limited factors with an imbalanced measure of success is unnecessarily limiting. This approach prevents us from living freely, spontaneously, and with trust, so that we can rebel against the need for things to go strictly according to plan. Where'd it go? According to plan, it's that conditioning. It's that conditioning card, wherever it went. Conditioning, right there on top. Conditioning, according to plan. Yeah. Choose to value decision, all those wands. 2 of Wands, 4 of Wands, 7 of Wands. What did I say? Those are fire, passion, quickly moving energies. Choose to value decisions based on passion and instinct and trust in life, enough to embrace it as an adventure and let it unfold as it will. There's time and place for all your thinking stuff, logic, strategy, planning. These are not bad tools to have, but we must be vigilant not to worship them or allow them to squash our less rational but equally valuable decision-making tools. The only swords that came out, which typically do show those anxieties, is that 7 of Swords and the 4 of Swords. The 4 of Swords obviously is encouraging that reprieve, that rest, that break, but not there yet. It's a transitional point. Whereas that 7 of Swords is that sneaky, deceitful energy, but it was reversed with the Moon card and the Moon card. What else was it? I've forgotten already. Death. Yeah, it just kind of, it very much gave off that. 7 of Wands, death, 7 of Wands, 2 of Wands, 4 of Wands. Yeah, all that stagnation, refusing to move. And that's not trusting. You have to go within and develop that inner trust in order to have trust in universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to label it. However, there is also a healthy dose of organic flow, responsiveness, and trust in the creative process of bringing something to life. This leads to the cultivation of the most beautiful, abundant, and successful garden and the most vivid healing arts. You're being asked to stay open to the intuitive approach in your life. Blah, blah, blah. You may have pressures around you from the world or from your own conditioned nature. Your own conditioned nature. Your own conditioned nature. That can apply to you or to whoever that other energy might be. From the world around you, condition to do things according to the rules, to a deadline, or to the accepted mainstream view, that you need a well thought out plan for success in a commercial venture. You have to have a well thought out plan for success in a commercial venture. Yeah. What did I say wrong? You guys might want to rewind. I think this is going to end up being done in 2 parts. Keep losing my place because I'm like finding the cards that are relevant to these advisements. You need to venture. However, sometimes the best plan is to do what feels intuitively truthful in the moment and trust that you are being led towards your own growth. This oracle brings you a special piece of guidance. You are moving outside of the plan. You are living on the border of what is socially accepted. This is good. This is fringe dwelling freedom. Fringe dwelling freedom. I'm going to have to try to remember that. I kind of like that. And maybe you are an out and out proud fringe dweller, completely comfortable with this way of being. Either way, this oracle brings you the message that you now have a chance to live from the heart more deeply and expressively than ever before. It wants you to realize that this is a legitimate, empowered, and creative way to live that honors all of who you are. You can give up forcing or squashing yourself down into a very limited set of so-called desirable qualities like intellect and control. That was Four of Wands, Two of Wands, Death, and Seven of Wands energy. Limitations, forcing or squashing yourself down, which is also that Moon and Seven of Swords, squashing yourself down, squashing down your awareness, squashing down your intuition, squashing down your inner view. Squashing down intellect and control. If you are yet to relate to this consciously, this oracle brings you the further message that you are going to be breaking with tradition. This will require you to have courage in your convictions and faith in your heart truths. This will help you and inspire others around you to step out of fear and live more freely and lovingly. I know exactly which two cards this is referencing. Go within. Live your truth. Break those traditional, what's the word I'm looking for? Paradigms. Because whichever one you may resonate with, whichever energy, masculine, feminine, when you turn, even if, because of these types of connections, let's say you're the feminine energy, you start out reverse, you're both reverse, not doing that inner seeking, trusting your higher self, that sort of thing. Let's say you as Empress turn completely around. Okay, the Emperor energy isn't necessarily going to turn completely around just because you did. You weren't them. But that connection does kind of shift and support and aid their energy to get closer to. They have to do their own stuff. You are not responsible for them. But because the connection, as you move, they move. Whichever direction. That's just kind of how it works. If you have to relate to this consciously, this oracle brings you a further message that you are going to be breaking with tradition. Pardon me. I read that. You are not necessarily meant to abandon logic and intellect altogether, of course not. You are to use them to serve the desires of the heart rather than to replace its naturally spontaneous and truthful nature with controlled planning and narrow strategy. It's time to get a wee bit wild and let nature take its course. So, yeah, I think that kind of says it all. Initially, I thought they were going to have me pull a Celtics tree oracle, but they haven't said a peep about it. I think they are satisfied that the message is pretty solidly conveyed. You are more than welcome to ask any questions or for any kind of clarification on this reading. Pardon me. This is related to anybody who is dealing with additional and unknown feelings of stress, anxiety. I need some water, which is way down here somewhere. Still have the heat on, so it's very dry. Pardon my couple. And if you are picking up that and it is interfering and you are feeling it and you're not feeling like it's your own, that it could be coming from someone else, some type of soulmate, soul connection, what have you, even a karmic, it doesn't matter. And I don't like the word karmic, but it has a negative connotation to it that isn't always accurate. In any case, if you do feel like that is your story and you do resonate, I wouldn't mind feedback on this reading. If you found the information helpful, of course, ask any questions. You'll have to bear with me if I'm unable to respond immediately, but I promise I will respond as soon as I possibly can. And hopefully that helps you over the next 2 weeks during this post-shadow Mercury retrograde drama. Because y'all, I'm going to tell you, I feel it too. So I know for me, this is confirmation of, what I already knew. And it's nice to have the confirmation that I've really got to get my game on with the self-care meditation stuff. So hopefully you guys do too, and you feel better. For those of you who are experiencing this situation. For those who are not, then obviously this reading is not for you. But if you are curious about some aspect of the reading, please feel free to ask, and I will be more than happy to do whatever I can to clarify or provide additional information as needed at the time or close to that time. In the meantime, peace, love, light. Y'all take care.